Hey everybody, Huda Sunshine, head of PR at Odix, for another episode of the Malware Free Broadcast. Today we're here with Odix CTO Omri Eytan to talk about JIT access in Azure and how we use it with NetFolder. How you doing, Omri?
All good, all good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. So maybe you could help us kind of start off. What is JIT?
Okay, so JIT stands for Just-in-Time Access. It's a feature that was recently launched by Microsoft for Azure resources that allows on-demand access to specific resources. Let's say I want to give you access to a certain resource, but I don't want to give a permanent permission for you to access it. Then with JIT, what I can do is receive a request for you that you need access to the resource, and then I can approve it for a limited amount of time. And by doing that, limiting your access to be temporary and making sure that you don't have lasting permissions in our environment or even access to any other elements in the environment. And the way that we've implemented NetFolder, JIT in NetFolder is pretty much straightforward. So I have my demo tenant that you can see here. This is called firewall test. And I have installed the NetFolder managed application. Managed application means that all the virtual machines that are associated with NetFolder are deployed in the client's tenant, but the client has restricted access to them. So in a sense, I have my managed application, and if I go to the resource group associated with it, you can see that I have my edge server and my management server. But if, let's say, I'll try to click it and delete it, for example, then I won't be able to do it. I don't have permissions to do it, even though it is in my tenant, and I do have ownership rights on the subscription. So I have my edge server, I have my management server, they're pre-configured, they're now up and running. I can sanitize files with the edge server API. And let's say that now me as a firewall test employee need odix to access my machines, to do maintenance, to provide support, troubleshooting, or just help me set up my configuration or tune my virtual machines. So what I can do is allow them access via the JIT mechanism. And the way that it works, first I need to set up JIT, and JIT can be set up in a few ways. So we have the approval mode, which is manual or automatic. Automatic means that every request for JIT does not require approval of someone in the organization. It's a given access. And I think that it kind of bypasses the core JIT functionality. That's why I'm running in manual mode, where an approval must be explicitly given to a request to connect to the resources in my tenant. And of course, once I set manual approval, I can set which users in my organization are allowed to provide approvals to JIT requests. So now I will switch to my odix tenant. And in my odix tenant, say that now I, as an odix employee, received a request from firewall test, my client, to help them upgrade certain components of their server. So I can go from my Azure portal. You can see that this is the odix Azure portal. I can see the subscription, the managed application, and the managed resource group that are in the customer's tenant. So at the moment, I don't have access to the resource group. But if I go to the app, okay, so here I can request JIT access for myself as the owner. So I'm asking for contributor access to the managed resource group, and I will click on activate. I need to select the duration that I need. Let's say I want 2 hours, can set a custom start time, and I will ask to activate. Okay, so you can see that a request was created for the resource group in the customer tenant. Let's switch back to the customer view. So if we'll go here to JIT access, you can see that there is a pending request to access the resource group with a contributor role. And I can either approve the request or just leave it hanging. I will approve the request. The odix tenant is specified by default in the managed application, the NetFolder managed application settings. It is set to be the only entity that is allowed to request JIT access to the managed servers. So there's no need to worry about strangers connecting from the outside world. So I will see that myself is asking for the access. I will approve it. Let's say upgrade assistance. Okay, now the update request was approved. If I will close this, okay, I can see the request history, which is of course this, and is still pending. Let's refresh it. Okay, so you can see that it is approved. All the JIT requests that were requested by odix and whether they were approved or denied will be listed here for auditing purposes. And after JIT approval was given, then I will go back to my managed application, and at this point I'll try to access the managed resource group from odix, and now I have access to the resources that are in the client tenant. I can zoom in and go to the servers, do whatever the client needs me to do, update, upgrade, troubleshoot, configure, tune, whatever they need. And when I'm done, close the session, JIT access is terminated, and then from that point on, I do not have access to that managed group unless I ask for an additional JIT access. So that is NetFolder and JIT in a nutshell. I hope that was clear enough. If you have any questions, need more info about JIT, you can just search for Microsoft JIT. And if you still have any questions about how we implemented JIT or how JIT and NetFolder can work together, just shoot us an email, info@odix, it's odi-x.com. That's all I've got for today.
Thank you so much, Omri, for your time. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. Be well.